Well, in this video, we're going to learn what is amber. What do we call amber? The note that's in perfumes that we all love so much. And I'm going to share with you some of the best and some of the worst amber fragrances that I have in my collection. If you want to learn about amber, the note in fragrances, and find out what my favorite amber fragrances are, and some amber fragrances you don't really necessarily want in your collection, just continue to watch. Hi my lovely people, welcome back to another fabulous fragrance video on my channel. Now we are gonna talk a little bit about amber before we start the video. Oh, actually before we get started, please take a second to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, which really helps me out to grow my channel. And you know, if you watch me all the time, why not subscribe? That way you can get notifications and you don't miss any of my videos. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I post a lot of really fun short content. Okay, what is amber? There's a lot of confusion about amber and ambergris. What's amber and what's ambergris? Now, amber is a synthetic note, believe it or not. What you find in fragrances, it's actually a synthetically created note. Whereas ambergris is a whale byproduct, and no whales are harmed in the process of getting ambergris. It is this substance that grows in sperm whales that has kind of like woody nuances, of course, ambery kind of scent, a little bit of a marine nuance, you know. Anyway, that's the difference between amber and ambergris. Amber actually is not even related to amber that we know, you know, that hardened, time-hardened resin that you find in jewelry and, you know, that stone-like thing. It's not related to that either. It doesn't come from that, believe it or not. I'm sure many of us are confused about that as well. Instead, it's actually a synthetically created note that's a mix between labdanum, benzoin, which is a resin actually that smells like kind of like vanilla and amber. Duh. So it's a mixture between labdanum, benzoin, and vanilla, really. So this is why ambery fragrances smell a little bit vanilla-y, or you find vanilla paired with amber a lot of the times in fragrance compositions. Sometimes you get tonka bean and pearl balsam in this mix, you know, so you get sometimes a little bit of a balsamic hint from the amber note in your fragrance. You know what I mean? So it's not something that you get from the amber we know that you get in jewelry and stuff. It's not related to ambergris. It's a synthetic note that's created with a bunch of other notes, essentially. Amber in fragrances first made its debut in the 1800s, as many fragrance notes and perfumes did. And actually now there's a whole category of fragrances, amber fragrances or ombre fragrances. So what does amber smell like? It has this sort of warm, cozy feel. Has a very warm, cozy feel, and it can smell a little powdery actually. And there is a little hint of animalic in amber, just a little hint. So, you know, a lot of the times when you're smelling those really dark juices that is the color, amber colored juices, that you get that powdery hint, that's from the amber. And they are really warm and sometimes can evoke even a liquor vibe, you know, kind of like that fermented liquor vibe, you know. So it's this warm, cozy, slightly powdery, vanilla-y, animalic, sometimes kind of liquor, smelling boozy feeling kind of note. It's perfect for this kind of weather, fall, you know, when the mood is dark and, you know, in the fall, the ambiance and it's cold and you want to be cozy. amber fragrances will get you right in the fall vibes. Okay, now for my favorite amber fragrances. I will have to start with a new addition to my collection that I have been loving. I would say it's one of the best ambery fragrances in my collection. This is Penhaligon's Clandestine Clara. You guys, this one, oh, it's one of the most gorgeous, like powdery, you know, that powdery quality of amber comes right through this fragrance. Very vanilla-y because this has loads of vanilla in here too. Honestly, you guys, this has many more fragrance notes, but what I smell the most are those amber and vanilla notes and that powderiness that comes from the amber. It's so deliciously sweet. This is one that leans more sweet. Absolutely stunning. It really is perfect for these kind of fall days. I like to wear this night out, like I wear this when I'm going out to dinner, drinks, what have you. But also this is one I find that I like to wear during the day too. So in the fall, it's cold, so you don't have to worry about wearing a heavy amber fragrance even during the day. This is the time for this type of heavy hitters, you know, deep, heavy, cozy fragrances. So this is an all-day fragrance for me for this time of the year. This has a beautiful booziness in this fragrance. So it's got, you know, amber has sometimes a liquor vibe, I told you. So this is one that does, but there is actually a booze note in here. I believe it's rum. So amber really complements boozy notes in fragrances. So this is one of the very good examples. Very sensual, the dry down from the amber, because the amber tends to be kind of cozy and sensual. And there's the most cozy and sensual woody note in the base, which is sandalwood, which is the perfect sensual woody note for this fragrance. Beautifully powdery, feminine, cozy, sweet amber vanilla fragrance for the fall. Here's another one of my favorite, super sexy, slightly spicy, delicious ambery fragrances. This is Sugar Leather by Unui Nomad. You guys, this is sweet, and this has a leather note. The sweetness comes from the delicious big dose of caramel, but this has some cinnamon, which warms it up with that warm spiciness, and that amber in here really complements that cozy, sexy vibes in here, that sugary caramel. And that leather note is the icing on top. It really makes this fragrance sexy. It's one of my husband's favorite. It's actually my scent of the day, so I can go ahead and spray it on right now. This is such a beautiful scent, you guys. I just love how sweet and caramelly it is. That complements that warm, ambery, powdery goodness in here. I don't know if amber is revealed in this composition or not, but I tell you guys, amber is here. I can smell it. I can tell by the juice. It's ambery, okay? And caramel gives that colored juice too. This is the most delicious, sweet, ambery, leathery, caramelly goodness ever. I actually have a discount code for this. Actually, 2 discount codes for you in the description box. Make sure to check that out. Go to the description box. Oh boy. Speaking of amber fragrances, you must never ever forget to mention this. This is Grand Soir by Maison Francisca Gianni. Guys, this one is an amber beauty. It's through and through amber. I don't even know what other notes are in here. All I can smell is amber and vanilla. Obviously, amber is a synthetically created note that has vanilla too. You mix vanilla with other notes to get amber. So this has added vanilla that complements that. This is so very sexy, ambery, powdery, feminine fragrance. Yes, it's supposed to be unisex, but I honestly think it leans very, very feminine. Love, love, love. It's one of my favorite amber fragrances, period. Speaking of my favorite amber fragrances, this is one that is actually a really luxe amber fragrance. This is Christian Dior Ruby Prince. You guys, if you have missed out on this collection, don't, okay? Yes, they are quite expensive, but we drop that kind of money on some of these niche fragrances, you know what I mean? And this is more than niche quality, although this is Christian Louboutin is a luxury brand, obviously, but it's a designer brand. And it's a designer fragrance house. This smells so deliciously, sexily vanilla-y amber. But it's mainly amber. It's a very deep, sultry amber note that's in this fragrance. In my opinion, leans very feminine. It's a unisex fragrance, but this one leans, it smells really good on women. It smells good on me, so let me put it that way. This has some added labdanum, which has a leather nuance to it. So labdanum is one of the things that you mix to get amber, like I mentioned, so that really complements that. This has a very sensual sandalwood dry down. That's absolutely, ooh, stunning. Oh, it's a very sexy amber fragrance, you guys. Love it. If you love a very smoky, dark, sultry kind of amber, this is Ambre Chromatique by Maison Crivelli. This house makes the most beast mode fragrances. Okay, I don't want to use that word because it kind of implies kind of offensive, but it's not. Their fragrances are so powerful. Let me put it that way. Powerful but inoffensive because they're such beautiful scents. No one can be offended. Oh my God, guys. I'm holding it over here talking to you and I can smell it. It's so crazy. This, you guys, this juice is, every droplet is worth the money because you get your money's worth because it's so potent and it lasts hours and hours. This is the kind of fragrance if you showered, you will still smell it. If you washed your clothes, you will still smell it 3 days after. That kind of fragrance. This is super sexily smoky, you guys. It has this almost like a sweet incense in here that I absolutely love. It has like this pink pepper note that kind of like works really great with that incense right in the opening. This has a very sultry, sultry, sultry Davana note, you guys. You guys know Davana is a very sexy, 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 sultry, herbally note. And this, I think, also has osmanthus, like for a floral note. But, you know, I tell you guys, what you smell the most is that deep, delicious amber in here. It's the sweet, smoky incensiness with that deep, 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 sultry amber that you smell. And the Davana that makes it all a sexy package, okay? Like very sultry. This has some benzoin and vanilla that add to that ambery base. Oh, this one, you guys, will project. If you're sitting in a restaurant, the whole restaurant will smell you. And they're gonna all love it. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, some woman is wearing, you know, a perfume. That's not how this is gonna smell. This is gonna go kind of like that. You know, like in cartoons, like, I can't think of a specific one, like, you know, like usually a cartoon character will go like, follow a scent, you know, trail. That's this one, okay? Very, very, very potent. Oh, another super sexy, it's in the name, by the way, fragrance is this one. This is Sexy Crush by JUS Parfum. You can call it Jus Parfum if you want. It's a JU Unique Sensorial Fragrance House. This fragrance house actually makes, like when I first got my first fragrance from this house, I really didn't think, like just from the packaging, they have really funky packaging, right? But my gosh, like I fell in love with the first one, which was Andavisa, and then I got Rosamonda, Sexy Crush, Eco Freeze. Oh my God, I love their fragrances. This one is their sexy, smoky, ambery fragrance. So this is also incensey. It's very sexy, smoky in an incensey kind of way. And it has a huge dose of amber, you guys. It has incense, labdanum, some oud, but the oud is very hard to even recognize that it's there. You can tell by the depth of this fragrance, this oud, but you can't really smell the, it's one of the best kind of high quality oud, Laotian oud. This has like tonka bean and vanilla, so it's very kind of vanilla heavy. Has some musk for that sexiness, you know. Floral notes like rose. It's very quite balsamic, which I love, but it's a very, very ambery fragrance. This is an amber juice, little smoky, sexy, incensey amber juice with a lot of vanilla. It's quite sexy. Sexy Crush it is. I actually have a discount code for this house as well. Down in the description box, you can get a really good price right from the fragrance house. And when you order from the fragrance house, you guys, you get a lot of goodies too. So you get a discount and you get goodies. So yeah, another amber fragrance that we must never forget when it comes to amber fragrances is one from the Christian Dior Privé line. This is Ambre Nuit. This one I talked about my top in my top designer fragrances for this fall video. I will link it up. Actually, I'll link it down in the description box. Check that video out, you guys. If you missed it, this is a beautiful. I almost feel like layering this with my Unnu Nomad today. Let me spray this a little. This is the most beautiful ambery rose fragrance, you guys. So now if you want something that's a little bit more, let's say, office appropriate, right? In the winter, in the fall especially. In the fall, you want to wear cozy ambery fragrances or smoky fragrances, but you're worried, oh, you know, it's going to be too smoky or whatever, deep for office. Don't worry, you can still be ambery and be wearing this, you know, and be office-like if you want. This is a more sophisticated rosy amber fragrance that you can smell. That beautiful rose note in here comes right through with some citruses. So you smell the citruses, the rose, and you smell the beautiful, gorgeous amber. There's some pink pepper in here too. So it's a very kind of sophisticated smelling amber juice for like a formal occasion if you want to wear it. It smells very stylish, so it's an all-day fragrance, goes from day to night. You can go to the office and still go out to drinks with your colleagues wearing this fragrance. I almost forgot one of the most ambery fragrances that is also really classy and, you know, has that Chanel DNA. This is, of course, Chanel Coco. This one is very, very, very ambery. Has some rose, some other floral notes like clover, mimosa, some interesting notes, floral notes. It is a little animalic, has, I believe, a little slight civet note, which isn't too strong, which I'm glad. Loads and loads of amber with vanilla, some labdanum, tonka bean, all that, you know, that enhances the vanilla and the labdanum that are already in the amber note, you know. Some fruity notes, some syrupy citrus notes like mandarin orange with some other fruity notes. Absolutely beautiful, very elegant. This is another one you can wear to the office, any kind of formal occasion. It goes from day to night. Perfect, classy scent. Another classy amber. One of my favorite, I would say, fruity ambery fragrances for transitioning from summer to fall and during fall is this one right here, Si Entrance by Giorgio Armani. This one is a very juicy, fruity amber fragrance because this has a very juicy blackcurrant note right in the opening that makes it a little bit more juicy than the average amber fragrance you find, which is why this is perfect for that transitional time going from summer to summer to fall as well. This has a very beautiful rose note, and it has a very, very sexy Davana note, you guys, that adds that sultriness to the amber base that is this fragrance. This has benzoin mixed with amber, which is a resin that smells like vanilla, and actually you get benzoin and vanilla in amber as well, you know what I mean? You can tell by the juice it's an amber juice. I don't care if it's revealed in the composition or not. This has loads of amber, trust me on this. This is a beautiful kind of juicy, almost kind of like not too dense kind of amber. If you're like not a fan of like the most smoky, more strong kind of sultry ambers, this is a good one for you. This is more of a light amber fragrance in my opinion, kind of juicy, kind of fruity, kind of floral. It's a little bit lighter. So yeah, C Intense, the 2021 I want to say release. There's a C Intense that's a black bottle. That's not an amber fragrance. Okay, and another amber fragrance that is a hugely amber vanilla fragrance is this one right here. It was actually in my top designer fragrances for fall video. This has like 100 buckets of vanilla and amber, you guys, I'm telling you. This is the Valentino Donna Born in Roma Intense, the intense version. Now this also has that jasmine, all the floral notes like the original, but you guys, you don't smell nothing else in this. You smell the most are those huge buckets of amber and vanilla in here. It's an amber vanilla fragrance through and through. It smells absolutely sexy and gorgeous and very feminine. Oh, it's absolutely stunning. It's like one of my super favorite fragrances, actually. Super feminine, super stylish, huge compliment getter. A lot of these actually are compliment getters. Last, like, amber recommendation. The other ones are honorable mentions because they have been discontinued. The next two I'm going to talk about. And then I have some not so good amber fragrances I want to tell you about. So this is Banana Republic's Dark Cherry and Amber. This smells, a lot of people say that this smells a little bit like Baccarat Rouge 540 because they're thinking of ambergris, but this actually has amber in this fragrance. I don't know about the cherry, you guys. There might be a little in the opening. Yes, I do smell it, but what you smell the most is that amber and the praline in here, which is what I think gives people that slight sweetness mixed with the amber that reminds them a little bit of Baccarat Rouge, but it's nothing like Baccarat Rouge, let me tell you that right now. Yeah, this is a very ambery fragrance. It's a nice one, affordable one, you know. So those are my recommendations, and these are also recommendations, but unfortunately they have been discontinued. This one is M. Micallef Mon Parfum Cristal. You can tell by the amberiness of this juice. This has got loads of amber. This has like a bucket of vanilla, bucket of amber with rose, you guys, and toffee, which is so delicious. This is such a beautiful, sexy, super ultra uber feminine fragrances. If there was one, I have 5 backup bottles for this fragrance because this discontinued, but I have a feeling that they're going to bring this one back in new bottles, new packaging, because they did that with the Legends collection, you know what I mean. They actually still have this available on the M. Micallef website. It's probably the best place to get it because you guys, when you order from M. Micallef website, you get so many free goodies, freebies and stuff. Plus I have a discount code for you guys. I'll put it down in the description box, so it's always a better deal. This smells so sweet and divine and slightly incensey because there's, I think, a little bit of incense in here. It smells super feminine. That toffee just complements that load of bucket of vanilla and amber that are in this fragrance. Chef's kiss, I love it. The other sexy one right here is Tom Ford's Noir Perfume. Can you believe that Tom Ford discontinued this? I don't get it. What is up with fragrance houses with discontinuing the sexiest, best fragrances. Now this one, you guys, is that hugely amber fragrance. If you ever tried to decant this, like I once did, to take it with me, not that you need to because it lasts for a long time. The juice is so ambery that it's red, right? It's very ambery juice. This has, I think, is it mastic, I want to say, for a balsamic resin kind of note. And then it has that beautiful, delicious gourmet note, which is, what is that, ice cream? Kulfi. This has that ice cream note, kulfi. Okay, that, I think it's the pistachio version because I can almost smell that. It's really delicious. It has some mandarin orange kind of citrus notes that are kind of syrupy and really adds to this beautifulness. Some rose, jasmine type of, you know, floral notes. But huge amount of amber in the base with a load of vanilla, and it has sandalwood dry down, like that sensual dry down. Chef's kiss. It almost has femme fatale vibes, very, very sexy. So now for a couple of amber fragrances that I don't really wear, you guys. I don't wear them. Now this one, I am not a fan of this. I kind of liked it at first because it has all these like cherry notes and stuff, and I really wanted to love it. I remember like even trying to convince myself that I love it. This is, by the way, Kayali Invite Only Amber 23. It could have been a good fragrance, you guys. I think the mistake they made was there's too much going on in this fragrance. It can almost be kind of headache inducing and too deep for my taste. And it's like, it's really dark. It has like tobacco, which is, I think, what turned me off to this fragrance. The tobacco note, I can smell that. And there's like a very syrupy honey note in here that's like slathered on top of all that's going on in here. There's nuttiness with like hazelnut or something. There's like chocolate in here. There's oud in here. There's all these really heavy notes that, and there's cherry, or all these going on at the same time, you guys. And there's like cypriol oil and like a whole bunch of really dark notes and some floral notes. I can't even smell the floral notes. I think what happened to it was that it has too much going on. Maybe if there was no tobacco in here, I might have kind of liked it. But yeah, I don't find it attractive. My husband finds it not attractive. He smelled it one time and he told me like it reminds him of like the really strong perfumes that old ladies wear to church. So anyway, so yeah, I guess it's not a sexy one for him either. So this one is Merveilles by Hermes. You guys, I am going to spray this a little bit because you can't really smell this one very easily. So out of the atomizer. This is not bad. I mean, it's nice. As you can see, I barely ever wear this, you know. It's just not a very special fragrance. It doesn't, to me, smell sexy. It smells citrusy. I feel like there's too much citrus going on with the amber that is in this fragrance, which are kind of clashing a little bit because there's too much citrus. I feel like it's kind of like has that acidic nature mixed with amber. It's just not a good vibe. You know, it's amber vanilla, but on top of it, it might also be more than the citruses. I smell the patchouli. So I usually love patchouli with gourmet notes, but something about this, it's just not the same. I don't know why. I know this has some labdanum too. It all sounds good, but that patchouli I think is a little overpowering with the amber. And I feel like there are some citrus notes in the opening that are kind of clashing. It just doesn't smell that great to me, you guys. I know that it's like it was super hyped, you know, a few years ago, which is why I bought it, but I found myself never reaching for it, really. So yeah, Merveilles by Hermes. So these are the two amber fragrances that I don't like, are the worst, I think. But all the other ones that I talked about, I highly, highly, highly recommend. So what do you think, you guys? What kind of amber fragrances are you wearing? Let me know down in the comment section. If you know of some amber fragrances that are even better than these super beauties that I just talked about, do you know one that is super sultry, super sexy? Because that's the type I go for. Let me know down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. And also, guys, please still let me know if your comments are getting deleted by YouTube. For whatever reason, message me or email me and let me know, because there's been an issue with YouTube deleting my comments. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell for all notifications. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I will see you guys in my next video.